Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bricks and Dragons. Today, we are continuing on with our Star Trek role playing game. So, what we're working on here is, as I'm trying to build things up and I'm trying to keep things going, um, I'm trying to kind of come up with a system. Now, I've already talked about doing commodities and that. You kind of saw the list yesterday. Today, I am kind of working a little bit more on. Um, Trying to get the other parts going here. But along the way, I'm kind of watching Deep Space Nine, so an idea came across my little noggin here, as well as an idea as far as like a starting origins here. Now, keep in mind what I'm talking about doing here is we are not going to be part of the Federation itself. Okay, we're going to be a Federation member. We are going to be working for the Federation. Um, and in that regard, do we start off with a shuttlecraft? Now we have a whole bunch of different types of ships here. And these are all more shuttlecraft type ships and stuff like that. And some of these are already out in um, some of the books and that. So if we grab a Federation shuttle, it'll work. And here's the starting plot for this. So as we're talking about this, so here's our starting plot. So we are a cargo freighter, and we are also a paid informant for the Federation. Um, our payment really comes in whenever we get to a Federation outpost. Maybe they might give us a couple slips of uh, gold press platinum, maybe a bar here or there, somewhere in there. And I don't remember what the conversion rate is. I do know that there is a conversion rate out there, and I know I have it in one of the books. But moving from here, uh, we'll kind of run a Federation type shuttlecraft of some sort. Pick whatever one works for you, for your group, whatever. Um, Something not too big is where I would kind of go with. Um, so whether you take the Generations shuttle, which is the like the upgraded. We have the Galileo, and then we go to the Generations shuttle, or like a Type 9 cargo shuttle, Type 9A cargo shuttle. Um, Something along those lines, even maybe a Type 7 or something. The 7 was an earlier next generation, you know. Um, But here's where our characters kind of start off. Now, whether you're just running a single character or running a group, if you're running a small group of characters, maybe you want to go up to like a Danube class shuttle or something like that. Or it would be very interesting if you were actually doing the Vulcan warp sled or warp shuttle. Um, it's an older type vessel, something that would probably be found more on the open market or so. Um, so you can maybe do something like that. Um, the only problem is once you're trying to land it might get to be a little harder. Uh, so if you stay with more of a regular shuttle or something like that, I think you would be better off. So having like a Type 9A or something as a cargo shuttle, because remember, you're doing cargo runs. Um, Depending on the group, I think as I kind of fumble through here, because I have pictures here kind of saved as you kind of see some of the stuff here. I thought I had a picture, and of course I didn't. And I do have my search up here. Um, I was looking for planets. We're doing shuttles. Let's get a Type 9 here. Um, I thought I had a blueprint of the plan here as we're kind of fumbling through this. This is not some, I don't do this all well orchestrated and all that. Look, it's like us just sitting around a table, just trying to think these ideas out. Really, that's all my viewpoints have ever really been. Here we go. Let's kind of save this image, and I'll throw it in my folder as I normally do, because then we're going to bring it up here, and then we can have a bigger view of it. All right, so let's increase our size so you can actually see this. All right, so here's our Type 9A. You know, we can yank out the seats and have a way at things. You know, just strip down shuttle, maybe even have a cot or two in the back. We have 4 seats in the cockpit, so we have some room there that would work. You know, you could easily just take this, print it out on some cardstock. You have a top-down view of it, so you can have it on a table or whatever you're using. You know, this would work. And of course, this is all done by Jeffries and was it Rick Sternbach or whatever. You know, and everything. All their ideas are their ideas. You know, I'm just borrowing their ideas, much as I'm throwing this out here for you to borrow from my ideas. You know, they came up with wonderful designs. Otherwise, some of the other thoughts I had is I could maybe take a Star Wars ship and make it more of a Star Trek ship, whatever works for you. Seeing that we're going to do this all in the Star Trek kind of atmosphere. So we had a different ship. This is our starting point. We had, you know, our backstory. We had a different ship. We were attacked by some other pirate organization or some other, you know, thug type organization, which, you know, there's got to be plenty of those running around. You know, organization XYZ, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call them the Orion Syndicate or some other faction, you know, it could have been, shoot. I'm trying to think which ones it was that had stabbed Picard, and my mind is failing. The Nausicaans. You know, maybe it was some Nausicaans. Maybe those Klingons just upset because they mistook us for someone else. It could be anything. And you could even leave it out there that we don't even know who it was. They just opened up or whatever. So as we're running around helping out the Federation, we're working in the underbelly of doing things for the Federation. You know, they don't have ships everywhere. So we may have local areas. So that's what I kind of came up for an idea. We're going to kind of start off here. So if we took a Type 9, strip it down, throw in a cot or two, you know, we could be sitting there eating rations or, you know, beef jerky for all that goes. Whatever works for the storyline, that's perfectly fine. And we're going to have kind of a, you know, sorry to sound like we're starting like a Luke Skywalker here. You know, we're going to be based off of this kind of Class M, more desert-ish planet. And then we'll have like a star base, which we'll get into. Okay, so as I have a commodities list, we're going to say, hey, this is the start here. Let's go and move on from there. You know, maybe the Federation brings in other supplies or some such things. You know, there may be some farming here. You know, water could very well be a big commodity for this place because if it's more of a desert, that would bring things like water as a premium idea. So there we are. So just kind of working that stuff through. So here we are. We now have a Federation type shuttle because our ship was destroyed. We did have some cargo on here. So now we're going to have people after us because we had lost their cargo. So even though, you know, we, you know, if you want to do it as we owe them money, which is like the Han Solo starting story, right? Or maybe we paid them back, but it's a sense of honor. They don't like to have people that fail them. Something like that could be going on. There again, that's open for interpretation. Usually when I write my stories, I leave a lot of area open because I don't know what the group is going to do. And a couple times I had written everything out. They went off on their own little tangent, and my storyline was just kind of tossed off to the side, and I really had no idea. So I just kind of made it up as I went along. As okay, here we are. Let's just kind of keep things a little vague. Here's my points. However you get them there. If they go right and you were hoping that they were going to go left, and you can still turn it into what they needed to go, or maybe the right leads into the left and you get them back into where they need to go. Um, but as they get along here, this is where I'm going to kind of throw it into you as a storyteller. Um, and you're going to have kind of a character in here. Really, whenever I do a character, my characters are always supporting characters. Okay, so you are going to be a Federation character that they're going to keep running into. Now, if it's a character that you want to just have at a station here that will give them missions, maybe packets to deliver to other areas because communications is a little sketchy and you don't know who's listening in. Maybe it's running certain supplies to certain areas, and you just need free traders to actually help run supplies that you just can't get ships to. Um, but it also gives you an opportunity to run along with the characters. Maybe sometimes you're going to join them in the adventure, or maybe it gives you an opportunity to throw some equipment that they're not going to have, namely like some science equipment or something, and maybe you throw a scientist on their little shuttle there, um, or whatever ship you end up using. You can have some portable scientific equipment that you can throw on there, plug it into a coaxial that they should have for whatever reason. Take up some of their cargo hold. Even if they're holding some other cargo, maybe that might even become some of another issue. Maybe they're holding some livestock, and you have a scientist that's trying to run in the cargo hold all together, and you're going to have a very angry scientist with you. Um, but these are going to be starting things how we're going along. So, I know this is taking a little bit longer. Normally, I have thought processes. I'll write all these things down. These are where we're going. So we have a planet picture here. Whether you steal this one, whatever. This one I looked on Bing. I don't know who made it. And let's be honest, I don't do very good for drawing anymore. Coming up with these pictures, people have them. I'm happy to borrow them. As I said before, whoever comes up with these things, they deserve all the credit. I'm just borrowing their visuals to try and help me. The storylines I might borrow a little here and a little there, but this is a lot of the stuff I'm kind of coming up with on the fly on my own. And having done role-playing games, I'm used to having to ad-lib a lot of things because when the guys kind of go off track for where I intend them to go, we do have to ad-lib a lot of things. And the more you get kind of used to it, especially with a good group of gamers that you're used to running with, what works, what doesn't work, it gets easier. And I do admit I'm not as used to doing a lot of the extra talking stuff. Normally for me, a speech check is just a roll. To sit here and say, hey, can you con these people into doing something? For me, that was do a con check. So they rolled the dice and we made it. Okay, I'm not asking them to actually perform that way. And there are groups out there that will do that act. They will roll and they will talk a talk, and everybody gets a kick out of it, and that's perfectly fine. However you play. So here we are. We're still working on this. I know I'm going a little slower than maybe it seems maybe I should be. I'm still working on my commodities list. We've got a whole bunch of snow dumped on us, so I'm trying to recover from shoveling snow. Hopefully this is the last bout we get, but God only knows what we're going to see here for snow in the future. And to make things even more interesting, it's supposed to be up in the 40s here this weekend. So even though I had to move some heavy snow and all that, it's going to be nice and warm this weekend, so it would melt. I'm just trying to make sure everyone can get in my driveway. So yeah, I've got things going on here, but we're going to get this going. We're going to keep things going, and we're going to have storylines going. Now I will let you know what the storylines are as we go along, and then if you want to write down notes from the stuff, that's what this idea is. As I create this stuff, I want you to know what these notes are, so that way you can take these notes down and then you can use it in your own games. If you wanted to try and transfer some of this stuff to bigger ships, you probably could. Seeing one of the missions, watching Deep Space Nine, yeah, it's something I'd like to throw in there. I don't know exactly how I would do it as a group of free traders, because here it's they've trying to help keep a settlement kind of together or whatever through kind of I will say like a magical type scenario. There's always a MacGuffin there that helps to explain the magic part of it, which does work pretty good, and I'm not trying to knock any of it down. The other beautiful thing about doing a Star Trek or a Star Wars, or I'm sure you could do it in Starfinder too, is you hit one planet and it's a very modern or sci-fi-ish city, filled with all flying cars and all the modern or futuristic amenities that you could think of. And then you get to the next world and they're back in the Stone Ages, pre-industrial. You have a blacksmith trying to put a wagon wheel back together. And you can go back and forth, and maybe as a free trader, we don't have to worry about the prime directive. If we were part of the Federation, maybe I have to get a scientist there, and maybe they have to get to one of those little kind of lookout houses or something like that, and maybe some other shenanigans ensue. So, but like I said, I'm still working on this. I'm still trying to get going here. I know it's taking a little bit longer, maybe. Just trying to do updates, trying to get out ideas here. So whatever you're working on, wherever you're at, think about what kind of a ship you want to have for your group. I'm hoping that here before the weekend, I can have a little video going of whatever I'm doing. And I'll have stats for the ship and all that. We will be able to show you the stats of the ship, go from there. And I'll have one adventure all fully set up that I'll kind of talk through. It's going to be done a little bit more like the captain's log, so it's going to be more narrative. And we're going to go through there. And we're just going to keep going on. Now, you take that same mission type and then you put it into terms that works for your group, with whether you do a pass or a fail. And remember, whenever I play, I always err on the side of the characters. They will sneak by the, tips of their fingers, clutching on to that victory just barely, but they will pull off that victory. But that makes it exciting for them. They know they're going to pull it through, but what kind of shenanigans is going to happen in the long run? And if it fails, maybe we can use some of those failures to add extra stuff for them to run into on the next one. So, and I might play it off that maybe I just sneak by and then we'll have something else that happens in the background. Maybe there's another shadow character that's running off in the background. So that's what we're working with. That's where we're going to go. I don't know how much. I get like a half-hour record time with the system I'm recording here today. I think probably getting close to that. So we're going to end it here. We will see you tomorrow. We'll see what we get progressed on here. For me, part of having a ship is also having a nice map and being able to say I have enough beds for people and all that stuff, so people aren't just sitting there sleeping in chairs. Which, if we're down on our luck, kind of free traders, which is what we're starting off as, it very well might happen. So, and that's really how I want you to think about this as I'm starting along. Even if you're starting off in a ship, give them a crummier ship. Maybe it's enough for whatever for them to run on, but it's not going to have all the amenities. Something to work towards. And if you are running it as a federation, maybe you're not getting the gold press platinum, but perhaps it's being able to get upgrades to your ship, better amenities and stuff like that added into there. So with that, we're going to end the video. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. See you in the next one.